Hello and welcome back to that Eurovision site. Hello, Eurovision with a slice of life as always. Hi, I am Kittens and I'm here with Molly and we're gonna talk about Festivali Këngës.
So yeah, I've done a listen and I've been having so much fun with it. And I have opinions. So
Good, because I also have opinions. Let's
yes.
do some opinions. I don't know why I'm
Uh,
saying it like this, but let's do it. So, Festivali Congress is coming up at the time of this recording. We're recording on the Sunday. Festivali Congress starts on the Thursday, this week. So we are expecting the 4-day Festivali Congress 63 Bonanza to start this week. Um as usual, it is gonna be one of Albania's kind of top musical events of the year. This is kind of their big thing, and then they tack on going to Eurovision on the end as a kind of secondary thought. I
it's like,
mean,
and this?
yeah, it very much is. Like, you've not watched Festivali Congress properly before,
No,
have you, Molly? And I
no.
think last year was my first year of fully watching it all the way through. I think before I had watched the finals. Um, and last year was, I think it's fair to say, a mixed bag. I think that's a kind way of putting it, but basically there was a lot of crap um in there. I listening to the songs overall, I think they've done a little bit better this year. I mean, what was your thoughts on the songs overall, Molly?
There are some songs that I feel like I think this is a general thing. I know they're very similar to San Remo in that sort of sense where they don't write because the Eurovision isn't like the winning goal. They're writing, some of them are writing music for Festival de Congress, not for Eurovision, and that can kind of be said in a lot of the more sort of traditional music, more ballady music that I felt like, okay, maybe this would do well in Festival de Congress, but not Eurovision. And I think that is maybe their general goal, I feel. But there are some gems in here that I feel would do very well. It all depends. Also, a lot of it all depends on like their plans for staging as well. Like if you're going to have, like, there's a lot of ballads here. If this Eurovision is going to be a ballad full, I feel you have to hit it with the staging, or else you just standing there with a spotlight on you is gonna do you nothing if you have a basic ass ballad. That's my sort of thing. And I feel like they can either send in a ballad and have amazing staging, or they do like a different route and they send in something that will be unique, maybe tr a little trendy to push them forward. It really depends on what track they want to go, but it always seemed to go this sort of semi-ballady route or ballad pop. Titan was a little bit ballad pop, if I remember. I think I've got it right. Got that right there, if I
Yeah, it
remember.
started off like quite ballady, and then they put in the revamp this kind of re-kick. I do think that, Albania have really got a mixed bag history of Eurovision. We've had some non-qualifiers recently. It's very mixed for them. And I think the fact that, Festivali Congress is its own thing, this is, we don't count Festivali Congress in years. We count Festivali Congress in the amount of editions they've had, this being the 63rd edition. And, I think the fact that it is this big show and the Eurovision thing is just such a sideline means that you get just drastically different music. Just like you were saying, like, I think it's nice to see that this year we've got quite a few songs that kind of stray away from just it's a big jury loving ballad. And the Albanians, to be fair to them, when they do ballads exceedingly well. Like, if there's anybody who can belt like an Albanian, you know, the you know, the one thing I'd say, like listening back to these, is some national finals, you listen to the songs and you think, oh my God, can they pull this off live? And
Yeah.
with Albania, I feel like Albanian Ballad's school of performance, and there's no dispute that they will pull it off live. So I think that that is definitely one thing to say for them, that they are gonna deliver that. And I always do love that you've got the orchestra involved as well. I'm a big bring the orchestra back to Eurovision person. And getting a nice orchestra, San Remo style, at Festivali Këngës is always a treat.
Mm.
And I do think when you have songs kind of written not necessarily to make the most of that orchestra, but that will make the most of that orchestra, that they're going to be talking about arrangements and, thinking how they can do it really well. I think that is an asset, really, when it comes to Festivali Congress. Yeah, I'm gonna, put on my little high horse and say, can we please have the Eurovision Orchestra back? That all aside, let's talk about favorite songs from the selection. So, have you got, let's say three top songs that you thought, yeah, damn, this is good.
I'd say my first one was Jet, I think Jali, if I pronounced that right, by Jet. Just such a good, beautiful song. It's like a mix of tempos. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely loved it. It is, I think it's one of those ballads, but it's amazingly done. It was just, I loved it. My second was Elvana Gata, Gata's one with Carnival. Did I get that right?
Yeah, Havana Giatta with Carnival, yes.
Yeah. It was so much fun. I loved my pop girly pop dance, like get up and party kind of thing. And it felt like marketable, but it felt new as well. It was like a mix of everything in a nice little package. It was so nice. The reason why I put it at second is just because I really liked Jets Barrett, the Jets one a lot, like a lot. So it was really hard to rank between those two. And then I think for my third one, yeah, Fremi by Lornet.
Lauren Pastorama, I think.
I think I'm very particular with my ballads, but I feel like this one just hit it for me. Like it was just gorgeous. I loved listening to it. So pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely that one for me. It definitely stood out. I'm not really a ballads person, but it definitely really stood out to me as one of the better ballads in this edition. It's really moves, it's got a big like oomph to it, which I
Mm.
really, really like. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you with Alvana Giata and Jet. Apologies if my pronunciation is way off. Albanian is not my thing either. Um, I think I had when Jet happened when I first listened to it. I think I just sat there with my mouth like open, just going like for a bit because it feels so like modern,
Yeah.
and so like if that was in English you could see that being in like the UK charts like
Yeah. Yeah,
easily.
definitely.
It just feels so like modern and cool, and like I was like, oh yeah, yeah, this guy's really got something,
Mm.
I was not expecting that, but I'm very pleasantly surprised. I put Carnival by Alvaro Giato in my number one. This is somebody who has been around the scene for a while. Like, she is like well known as like an artist, and of of people who are absolutely like gonna deliver this. You know, she is gonna deliver this in like a huge, huge way. And I can't see any way that that is not going to be like a performance of a lifetime. The buzz around it is like huge. Like I saw so many people talking about this song immediately when it came out. So the buzz around it is huge. So I think that's going to be like really, really big. The other one that caught my eye is Gem by Skoda Electronic. I thought that one was really interesting. Like, I do like kind of entries that have like a folk base but bring the banger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that I thought that one was really interesting. I really think that that's gonna be really cool to watch. And I'm gonna sneak it in because hey, I'm hosting this. I can do what I want. I'm also gonna put out a shout for Amane by Ardit Tuni.
Mm.
Because again, that was another one I was like, oh, 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 you have my attention. Because I just genuinely thought that one was just a lot of fun. I was having a great time. I was having a great time with it. Overall, I think the song selection, there is a lot of like ups and downs here.
Mm.
Like, there is a lot of songs that feel very dated. I don't necessarily mean that just because they're from some of the older performers in this competition, but there was a lot of songs that felt like they were from a different time. They felt like they belonged in like the 90s or something like that.
Yeah, and
And
in some cases early 2000s, like a little bit like
yeah, and I don't know the Albanian music scene well. I'm not like a big enjoyer of Albanian music that I know of so far. Um who knows? I might become one after this. Who knows? Um but I've never been like super interested in this, but there's definitely some songs that have caught my attention out of this. Definitely some ones which I think I'll be playlisting. Like, I think probably the top four I'll actually be playlisting, which I think is more than happened last year, with Festivali Congress. I just, it's it's nice to see that they are doing a little bit more variety. I mean, you've still got to have the ballads because that is
yeah.
kind of Albanian standard at this point.
Yeah, I think with every national selection, you got to have something that broadens like audiences. Like Melfest, you have like the country, you have sort of like some ballads, you have. So I feel like it's the same here. You've got to have something that has national appeal, but also wider appeal.
Yeah,
And
and
I
I
think,
think because this is such a big show, ignoring Eurovision,
yeah,
that artists are going to be fighting to get on this show, and they do want to show off what they've got. So yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see. Like, there was quite a few songs that I thought actually the performance is really going to matter for this.
yeah,
Like, there were some songs which I thought were like borderline. And I was like, if you properly perform this well, this could go from borderline to like up there.
yeah,
Um, but it's really kind of dependent on whether they do that. I mean, you know, this is it. I'm so interested to hear how some of these sound with an orchestra. That's gonna be
yeah.
nice.
I think with some of them are like vocally really good, and I'm like, I hope you hit it out. I hope those people hit it out the park with the staging. Again, I'm meaning I'm not looking for a spotlight in the middle of nowhere and you having vocals. I'm sorry, maybe that would work, but personally, it
It,
just
it
depends.
I think it really does depend on that a bit. But I think this is a better set of selections than we have had in a previous year. So I'm pleasantly surprised. Hopeful that we're gonna get some good performances this week. Hopeful that we're gonna, because I mean they've hinted that there's going to be moving parts to the stage, and they've hinted that they're going to be doing like all sorts of more interesting things with the stage than they normally do, which is normally quite San Remo-y, quite
Yeah.
stationary with just like the orchestra. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see, and I think in the past as well, their weird habit of so I don't know if you know this from last year, Molly, but last year they had the jury winner. Oh God, I've got to get this the right way around. The jury winner won an award, and the televote winner got to go to Eurovision.
Uh,
But this year
yeah.
they've just decided there's one winner, and that one winner goes to Eurovision.
Okay, interesting.
So I think they've decided that it's going to be like, who, and they're also saying there's going to be Albanian diaspora voting, so people from outside Albania are going to be able to vote. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't think there's any real
Mm,
details on that. But I think it's going to be interesting, and I've always slightly been a proponent of this dual header doesn't work.
yeah.
Like, I know you have to satisfy the televote in Eurovision now. If you are in the semi-finals, you need to satisfy the televote, and maybe that is was a part of their logic. I don't know, I don't really know. Um, but I think, you're still gonna have to satisfy the jury in the end if you get through to that final.
Yeah.
So not having
It
any the power in the jury is a weird choice.
I
So I'm
think
glad they've eradicated it.
with televote, it always depends on the country as well, because there are countries that have had televote and have sent some horrendous artists in before. So it really does depend on, what a different country's tastes is at the time. I guess having that kind of smaller global vote does help. Again, maybe that will help Carnival very well. I'm personally thinking that global vote will help that song, but I don't know. My thing is, are the Albanian lot going to be very interested in more the olden type ballads than are they going to be the more modern stuff? You get me? Like it's a
Yeah,
you
yeah,
never
yeah.
really know with televote.
You're absolutely right. You never really know. I mean, Avana Gata is, and again, sorry if I'm saying her name wrong, is a huge, huge star in Albania. Even I know that, and I know nothing about the scene. So I think there is no way that she's not going to get loads of support, but equally, I don't know much about the other artists, and maybe they also have huge amount of like local support. And obviously, you never know what happens on the night. Everything could go wrong. Everything is very subject to change. Who knows? So, I mean, we've heard all the songs. We've thought about what we're doing. Who do you think, Molly, is gonna be the eventual winner of Fix 63?
If we're going off general popularity, we're going off the sort of around about global vote as well being involved, Carnival. Exactly, it's just across the board. If we're going off sort of Albania tastes or whatever, maybe Jet could take it because that's more ballady mix. I think it either Jet or the third one that I got. Oh, Lornet could do it because of it's a ballady mix, but also it's not too much of that. So I think those three are quite good, but I mean, it's either Elvana or Jet, depending on where the vote swings in taste.
I really feel like this is Alvana's to lose. I really feel like it is. So unless something goes horribly wrong or we get a big surprise, I feel like it's gotta be Carnival. I don't know much about the fandoms for the others. I know about Elvana's because it's the name on everybody's lips, but I don't 100% know what the situation is with the fandoms of that in Albania, but just on terms of the songs, I do think it's hers to lose. So yeah, we're both basically predicting that it's Carnival. Yeah, we'll have to come back and see how that is after the show.
I think I'm predicting Carnival and maybe Jet.
Oh,
Maybe.
come on. No fence sitting, no fence sitting.
Okay, we'll go Carnival then. We'll
Go
go
on,
Carnival.
Carnival, Carnival. So any more final thoughts, Molly, before we wrap
Um,
up?
I was gonna mention a song that I wasn't the biggest fan of, if that's okay. You can
Yeah,
edit
go for
it
it,
out if you
yeah.
want to. Anti-hero. Oh gosh, what was that?
Oh, see, I kind of dig this in a kind of like busted kind of way.
Some of the songs and sounded very like I think some of the songs sound it may disjointed where one section is like one bit and it's like fine, but then it another one comes in and just interrupts it. It's like a jigsaw puzzle that doesn't mix very well.
Yeah, yep,
That's
yep.
how some of these songs sounded to me, and I'm like, wait, what are we doing now?
I mean, Mel Cherry again, sorry. Um won last year's edition. So he is the jury vote winner from last year's edition. So he didn't get to go. We got Bessa because she was the
Mm,
televote winner. So he was known for very much flexing those muscles and stuff on stage. He was really showing it off, and I think a lot of people kind of got rubbed up the wrong way a little bit by him. And I think we
mm.
got quite a different song from him this year. It really reminded me of like Busted. It really did, which was like the oddest thing because I was not expecting a Busted out of Albania, but here we go. Just kind of like a pop rock song. But with his popularity, if that popularity, again, I don't really follow the Albanian music scene. If that popularity from last time still exists, I think we could see Antihero actually quite high up there on the board at the end of the night. So,
Yeah, again, you never really know what I may be like. Nah, some people be like, I love it. It's my
oh
favorite.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I vibe with this. It's like, okay.
Well, thank you very much, Molly, for joining me. We will wrap it up there. If anybody wants any more detailed discourse on the songs of Festivali Këngës, we are also filming reactions, which will be coming out this week as well, so you can catch up with what we thought of all the songs before the show. Thank you to Rory, Shiloh, and Daniel who have all recorded reaction videos. So keep an eye out for those on this YouTube channel. And while you're at it, obviously subscribe, thumbs up this video. We love you, of course. Mwah, mwah. And follow us on all social media at that Eurosite on everything under the sun. And also obviously that Eurovision podcast on your favorite podcast service of choice. We will be wrapping up at some point after the show. Me and Molly will wrap up after and tell you what we thought of this show and who knows who will have won. But we will be back at a later date to share that with you. But thank you very much for watching. We will catch you all later and bye.